Welcome along to Outdoor Gear Chat. This is episode 52, which we're excited to be bringing you from Kendal Mountain Festival. I'm joined as always by Kathy. Hiya.
Hi Wayne, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah, cool. Well, it is really exciting to be here at Kendal Film Festival this year, Mountain Festival this year. It's absolutely fantastic. We have a huge number of special guests, and we're really grateful to the Mountain Festival for allowing us this space to do some really quick chats with this fantastic array of brands, sponsored athletes, and all sorts of people. So, first up, we have with us product manager of Mountain Equipment, Malcolm Rudge. Welcome, Malcolm.
Hi, very nice to be here.
Cool. So we are going to talk gloves. I like gloves.
I wish we were filming this one today. That's normally when we're filming them on Zoom, you can see all the facial expressions. Or when you were doing air guitar the other week as well, that was brilliant.
That always works well on a podcast. So, Malcolm, how is a glove designed?
Usually we follow a bit of a process starting with the palm and the fingers. So that's really sort of like the base of the glove and affects quite a lot of how the rest of the glove is going to turn out. So we start there and then sort of build outwards and really considering what the glove's going to be used for and which construction techniques for the palm and the fingers we're going to start with, really then sort of dial in how everything else slots together. So if it's a really dexterous glove or like a glove that needs to be warmer, how much volume and sensitivity is involved. But it really all starts from the palm and builds outwards from there.
And then depending on what activity you're going to be using, is there different
absolutely.
designs?
So, some of our gloves that we might pitch for sort of like, winter climbing, for example, need to be really dexterous, also a little bit warm. And then some of our other more general purpose gloves, we build out to be a little bit more roomy and comfortable from there. Other factors that we need to consider are sort of where you put all the seams, because in a glove, they take quite a lot of, abuse really. They're in and out of rucksacks, they're on your hands, they're scrambling over rocks or handling ropes and things. So where you place all the construction lines and the seams is really important to make sure that your glove lasts and keeps the weather out, really.
And then I guess there's a whole blistering or calluses if you're getting a rub in a wrong place as well. That's not going to be a great thing when you're doing
exactly.
that repetitive.
So you really want to consider the placement of the seams for the shape of the glove. So it's going to be comfortable, how much sort of pre-curve or something you have in it, but also so that they're in a place where it's comfortable for the person who might be wearing them for quite a long time as well. So sort of lots of factors pulling in different directions.
You've just mentioned pre-curve, which actually is super important, because if you look at a number of gloves, they're flat, and if you just hold your hand relaxed, your hand is not a flat object, is it? Even a relaxed hand has a curvature in it. So it's really important for technical gloves especially to be kind of 3D sculpted around the hand. Now, I've had the odd attempt at making clothing before, like really simple clothing and working with patterning and seaming. But the thought of creating a pattern to build around a 3D hand it just blows my mind. So, I mean, to do that, you must need a lot of pieces. So how many pieces might be involved in a glove?
Well, there's quite a lot. And of course, each of the different layers in the gloves has its own sort of like setup of number of panels to create the shape. Because if we think of a glove for winter use, there's the outer shell, the palm, all the sort of bits that build the finger tubes, and you've got all your insulation on the inside, which is constructed from multiple panels, and then you might have a lining as well, just what helps your hands sort of slide in nice and smoothly. So something like a sort of a winter gauntlet, classic winter gauntlet, that might have 57 different pieces across all those layers. The outer, the insulation, and the inner.
Yeah.
And even on a more simple, quote, simple glove that's a bit thinner with less insulation, you might still have 15 panels in your outer shell, but almost 6 of those might be used in the thumb, because that's one of the sort of most complicated parts of the glove, really, in terms of the shape. Because, like you said, there's the sort of natural pre-curve, but your thumb has to move around a lot. You don't want it to sort of stretch too much fabric if you like using ropes and things like that, because that can accelerate wear. So there's quite a lot of complexity to the shaping.
I'm just sat here amusing myself like a chimp, moving my thumb around and going, oh yeah, my thumb's moved around quite a lot.
Yeah, it does a lot of work.
Yeah, and the thumb, of course, is also the home of the very important nose wipe.
Absolutely.
Anybody who winter climbs knows just exactly how vital that piece of kit is and that piece of the glove is. But you've got like maybe up to 57 components. That's a lot of seams. How do you make those waterproof?
How do you make those waterproof? Well, usually the most common way of making the glove waterproof is we actually have a waterproof insert, which is made from a membrane very similar to what you find laminated up in the fabric of a waterproof jacket. And when you see them sort of on their own, there's like a big pair of Marigold gloves, like membrane set of washing up gloves, and they've got extra little bits to allow them to be fixed inside the glove, and they will just drop in and slot in between your outer layer and then your insulation and your inner layers. So the actual bit that keeps the glove waterproof is a little bit bigger than the rest of the glove, but it's sort of obviously so flexible and thin that it sort of just packs in quite neatly.
And then like maybe in the middle of 3 layers, for want of a better phrase. So you've got like a liner in the where your hand touches, and then a waterproof bit, and then almost an outer bit. I know I'm mixing my descriptions there a little bit.
No, that's exactly it. So we'd probably slot it in between, like the outer, and then your insulation layers would come within the waterproof part, so that all stays dry as you're going along, because insulation materials are obviously like pretty absorbent, so you want to have those within your waterproof layer, so it keeps everything dry and toasty.
Cool. I've got loads of questions which are going off on a tangent now, which I can't ask because we haven't got enough time. But this is, I knew this would happen. How I've got to ask the question: how do some gloves work with phones and some
phones.
don't? Go on.
Yeah. So essentially, what you need to work with your touchscreen is something that's a bit conductive. So that's how it works anyway with your finger. The phone screen has an electrostatic field on the top, which your finger disrupts, and then the software in the phone can work out the position. So you need to just be interacting with that screen.
Sorry, I'm looking at Malcolm like he's a witch. I'm sorry. Engrossed.
Yes, you need to interact with the screen with something that's a bit conductive. So leather, when it's dry, tends not to be.
Right.
So there's a variety of things. Like the very first touchscreen sort of materials just had sort of metal thread sort of woven into a fabric, but now there's all sorts of conductive sort of prints, and some people will manufacture even like a fleece product that just has that base conductivity in it.
So it's part of the fabric,
so it's
essentially.
Just part of the fabric. And then it'll look very much like a normal fleecy glove, but it's got that quality and that you can still use your phone.
Yeah, cool. And then, we're obviously off wanting to give advice on buying gloves, and then making sure they fit right in the first place. So how should you fit a glove? How should it feel? I guess is maybe. No. I don't know. There was a wave of something.
It's obviously quite a personal thing, like a lot of clothing, so almost the best way is to go and try them on in a shop. That's just great, because there's often a wide range of gloves available, and you can go in and you can sort of size up the ones that are mostly suiting your needs for being waterproof or how warm they need to be, and you can just try them on, go up and down the sizes. But the thing I think to remember is that leather sort of is a material that will bed in over time, and certainly through use it'll
mould.
It can mould a bit to your hand. So if there's a glove that's maybe using a bit of more leather on the back of the hand or anything, don't be put off if it's a little bit snug in the first place, because it will bed in. And I think the other thing to consider as well is what's the brand saying that the glove's for. Some gloves might be intentionally made to fit a bit slim, so if you can sort of match up a few different things, like what you want out of the glove, what the brand's saying it's been made for, trying on the different sizes up and down, it will really sort of just help you find the right fit for you. And the most common thing on sort of sizing on glove charts is measuring like the biggest part of your palm and measuring that up to the size chart. if you do have to buy online, because you can't. But yeah, a bit like rock shoes, really. Like, just go and put some time aside and go and try a load on,
and get to talk to people who've got experience doing it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's absolutely right. We have a huge glove collection in our shop.
Don't we all?
Because everyone is cut differently. Everybody's hands are different. I mean, our feet aren't even the same, so our hands aren't even the same either. So if you are needing to fit your gloves, you don't want them too snug, because then you'll crush the insulation in winter, and they won't keep you warm. Too big, and all that lovely air that your hands have worked hard to warm up will get squooshed out. And maybe you need to layer as well. So if you're layering, you definitely need to bring your gloves in to try to, and to make sure they fit with your waterproof cups as well. Not all waterproof jackets are designed to work with great big mounting gauntlets, so that's also something to take into account as well. So yeah, definitely come into the shops and try them on.
And we're obviously mentioning sort of extreme activities that we're using for our gloves, particularly like you're saying your winter climbing fan. So how do you test them to make sure that they are, appropriate for that environment, I guess, and they're going to be waterproof, using a simpler example?
Yeah, so we're quite fortunate at Mountain Equipment with two quite long-standing partnerships. So we work with Plaza Brennan down in Wales, and also the Scottish Avalanche Information Service. So behind perhaps, like next season's glove development is many, many, many years of sending out a prototype glove or an idea to some people who are like regularly using and abusing kit, and then, at times some quite nasty conditions. And all of that sort of over the years feeds into how we evolve and push on a glove design or idea. And I was chatting to our designers before I came along, and we've got a photo gallery at work on the server, which is full of all sorts of, ideas and prototypes, and how long they've lasted, and, where was the, where they wore out, or, oh, no, that was perhaps the wrong place to put a seed, better not do that again. So there's a whole load of like information behind.
Is that a glove library?
It's a bit of a glove, it's a glove library. Yeah. some of which will never actually have, they'll all be the precursors to something that's ended up on the shop shelf.
I was going to say is the photographs of Scottish mountaineers setting fire to stuff. I'd say that idea is just not going to work. It's maybe not.
We save the sort of ruling it out bit for back at the office. But yeah, we test our ideas out. We send them out to lots of people who really do sort of use them regularly, and those guys, they can give us the same amount of wear that, like we might give a product on a weekend, regularly going out on the weekend, they're at it week after week. So it's a really good test bed. And then, of course, when we've got our final idea, we know exactly what we want to do, we'll also send those out as well. We might share them with some of our sponsored athletes who we know are going away on a trip just for the final, seal of approval.
Fantastic.
We could literally talk to you all day, and we knew this was going to happen. I know we've gone slightly over on time, but we'll have to call it there. And I'm sure if you can come back and talk to us again, that'd be amazing.
Absolutely,
for a longer chat.
Yeah, thanks so much, Malcolm. Have a great show here at Kendal Mountain Festival. And it's actually Thursday today, so it's not all kicked off yet, but we are so looking forward to meeting the many, many thousands that are going to be coming through the marquee. It's a fantastic event, and loads of friends as well. It's always like meeting up with old friends when you come to the festival. So we have already a podcast on talking much more generally about gloves, which we'll put information to in the show notes. If you want to see a huge glove range, you can go online to www.climbers-shop.com, where we have all of our range available. There's also a load of extra information on things like how just to keep your hands warm on our sister website, the Joe Brown Outdoor Academy, and you can find that at www.joebrownoutdooracademy.com.